Welcome to Board Game Empire. We're going to be showing you an overview and review of Theme Park Mania. So when we're shooting this is still a Kickstarter game. Hasn't it funded?
Yeah.
And it's already funded, so if you decide this is a game you want to back, you wouldn't have to worry about receiving the game. Basically, you are, along with other players, taking turns and basically creating a theme park. So you're placing road tiles or train track tiles. So here's the back, there's the front, there's the road tiles, there's the front, and the road tiles are vary in shape. You'll also be placing, when you have enough money and an area to place it in, one of the ride tokens, or one of the ride tiles, and facilities. So your goal is to be the player to end the game. You got to visit all the rides. You can choose between 12 or 16 rides. 16 rides being a longer game of around 75 minutes or more. 12 rides was about 60 to 75 minutes. So it depends on how long of a game you want to play. And then you just calculate your points at the end based on how many meeples, your little meeples you placed each time you've visited a ride, how many rides you built, and you know that because you have your ticket booth there. You also get, if you have purchased the workers, if you have all 4 workers, you get 1 bonus victory point. You get 1 victory point for each worker you have. There's a mascot, engineer, handyman, I think, or handyman, security, and is it engineer?
Yeah.
Okay. So you purchase those. They're less expensive in our scenario. Beginning of the game, they get more expensive the more rides you've built. They are different ticket scenarios, I think what they're called, or scenario tickets, based on how many rides you want to build. So we did the 12 ride one, and as you could see, when you have 4 more rides built, that's when the park actually opens and you can start moving your meeples around and things. You get $4 when you visit a ride, and you pay $3 for each of the workers, and it just goes up from there. You can also, if you play the 16 rides, there's 3 different scenarios you could choose from. Some of them increase more gradually, some of them decrease as you go. So it just depends on what kind of scenario you want to play. But that's how you base how much money you pay and receive, depending on how many rides have been built. So your goals, you have to build all the rides before the game can end. And then once one player has their little mini meeples on all 12 or 16 rides, then the game ends. So you're going to have these little meeples stacked over here at the park entrance, and as you move your main meeple, the bigger one, throughout the park using these move cards in your hand, you'll be visiting and placing your little mini meeple, and then you're just trying to go throughout the park by either walking or riding the train tracks. When you do visit a ride, like I said, you do get whatever it is in the black box based on how many rides have been built. You get that amount from the bank for visiting the ride, but then you have to turn around and pay, if it's not yours, the person whose ticket booth is on that ride. You pay them the amount of the ride plus the dollar amount on the facilities in that area. So you're going to be paying anywhere from $3 to up to $6 was our highest, to the person that owns the ride or built the ride. And of course, you're going to be getting more money from the bank as the game progresses. You earn money by building roads and train tracks. Each time you take one of these road tiles in a 2-player game, you get $1 from the bank. So your turns consist of, you have 5 actions you can choose from. You can only do one of them. Building roads, you can build 1 or 2 roads. and you get $1 each from the bank in a 2-player game. It's $2 each in a 3 or 4-player game. You can build 1 or 2 tracks, so you just take 2 of the track tiles, place them where you want around the board. Same thing, you get $1 or $2 depending on the amount of players. You can hire 1 employee. You pay the amount, the cost it is at the time. Like I said, in our scenario, it's cheaper in the beginning of the game to buy the workers at $3 each. You do have to have an engineer and a handyman before you can build a ride, because you have to have someone to work on it and be able to run it. So once you have those 2 workers, you could start, and you've got an area to put them in, you can build your rides. You earn them. You also can buy the facilities. They're between $1 or $2 each, depending on if they're just generic facilities that don't match the theme. They're $1. There's also scenery that you use to fill in areas, so you can get more points at the end of the game. If your ride area is completely closed in and surrounded by roads and scenery and facilities, you get a victory point for each. Is it 2 victory points or 1? I think it's 1. 2, I can't remember. I think it's 2 points if it's completely surrounded for each ride that meets that requirement. And so you're just basically continuing throughout the game, building roads, building tracks, building rides, trying to visit all the rides. And at the end of the game, the person with the most points wins. You do get points also for each $10 you have left.
You get 1 point.
You get 1 point. And then having your railroad track, you get a point if you built your station. Trying to remember what else all the points were. But basically you just tally up those. And we actually tied. So in the book, when you tie, you're supposed to pay 1 final round to break it. We actually I gave Anthony the win because he had visited all the rides and I'd only visited 8. So we felt it was only fair that he should get the victory in that situation. So what did you think of this game?
I really like the illustration and the components of the game. I think it's pretty cool, very well illustrated. As far as the mechanics, I think the mechanics kind of feels a little repetitive throughout the game, especially mid-game. Towards the beginning, it's you're building, and then mid-game, you're just like doing the same step over and over and over. Whereas the end, you're pretty much trying to get to the locations as fast as you can before your opponent does. And so the mid-game, I think, suffers in this game. I think that there needs to be something implemented so it continues the excitement throughout the whole game. But the mechanics, I think that's the thing that I just wish it played better. It's more smoothly throughout the whole game. So replayability, I would give this like a mid replayability because it does takes up a lot of space. It is a little time consuming, plus with the repetitiveness. So overall total, I'm giving this like a 6.5. I wanted more from this because we love theme park games, but the mid game I think suffered. The cards are kind of cool because there are some instant cards that do stuff, also end-game cards that give you bonuses, but there wasn't enough that allowed for, gotcha moments or things that you can manipulate the game more. I think it's more of a race game where you're building and stuff like that rather than a strategic game because there's hard to strategize because there's so many moving parts, and yet there's not enough that allows you to manipulate. So it's kind of hard to determine the game. A little chaotic for me, but overall 6.5. I think that if they fix the mid game and implement more stuff that gives you a little bit more control, I think this would be a great game because it does have a good core and the components and everything, the illustration. It just needs to be a little fine-tuned.
So I was excited to play this game because, like you said, we love theme park games. I was really excited. I liked the components. I thought they were really cool. And for a prototype, this is a prototype. I don't think we mentioned that. It's a very well-made prototype. But like Anthony, I got a little bored with it. It was fun in the beginning. It was exciting, but then it was very repetitive, and you get to a point where you're just, I don't know. I know this is awful to say, but I was ready for it to end probably 30 minutes before it ended. I got to where I just wanted to end. I didn't even care if I won or he won. And when we tied, I was like, really? I was not going to play another round. Because I was just, but that's us. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people that would think this is really fun and would love it. For me, there wasn't enough excitement because you were doing the same things over and over, which I know a lot of games you do the same things over and over, but within those turns, there's, within each, I guess, choice, there's more choices, I guess I should say, of what you could choose to do. Whereas the building the roads, it's random because you're choosing 2 random tiles. And we got to a point where it was hard to build in a way that even helped us because all the tiles that were left were like curved ones and they weren't curving the correct way. So it was, and then the train tracks, those stop once you place your station, you end that train. So it's not like in a 2-player game, there's not enough track to even go completely around the board how we have it built. So it was just, I don't know, there was a lot of just building to build. I felt like we weren't really going anywhere. Like we have a lot of things that go nowhere because there was not a really good place to set that road tile. And then once you buy your workers, it's like, okay, I've got those. And they're only worth like 1 victory point at the end of the game. I did lose one of mine. I lost 2 of mine. I got cards that I had to fire my mascot and my handyman, I think. So I had to purchase him back. But I don't know. It's just, there is something missing. I can't really put my finger on it, but there's just something missing in this game to keep it exciting throughout because it is a long game. If like at one point Anthony's like, how long have we been playing? Like it just felt, whereas if you're having fun, the game, it ends before you're ready kind of thing. This wasn't that type of game for us. But so I would give this a 6 for me. This isn't one I would bring back to the table personally. But again, I could see how there would be others that like the tile building type games that probably love this. So
yeah, more simplistic game because we like more of games that we're able to manipulate and a lot take that.
A little bit more complexity, I guess.
Yeah. This is more, I would say, more simplistic, like kind of beginners. And so we're beyond that because we have like almost 700 games. And so we've played a lot of games. This is like, I think that this is a game for beginners. Or
people that, like you said, don't like the take that.
Yeah.
It's more of a racing game, like you said. So people that just want a more casual, because it's just that. It's a casual placing tiles, just building, basically. So that is relaxing for a lot of people. But I like that excitement, a little bit of excitement in my game. So hopefully this video helped you to decide whether this is maybe more your style of game. We'll put the Kickstarter link in the description so you could check that out. Again, it has funded, so there's obviously enough people that think this game is the right game for them. So just take what we say with a grain of salt. It's totally personal taste. Nothing wrong with the game. It's a very well-made game, great mechanics. Just depends on what style of game you're looking for. So thank you for watching. Please give this video a like. Feel free to leave a comment. If you're not already, please subscribe to our channel. Thank you again, and we look forward to seeing you next time.